So thank you everyone for coming. It's really exciting. My name is Dr. Ranita Manocha, and I'll be moderating today's event. I'm about 5'4". I'm of South Asian descent, and I've got a blue jacket on. And I would like to start with our land acknowledgement. So the University of Calgary is located in the heart of southern Alberta. We pay tribute to the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nation. We're also home to the Métis Nation within Alberta, which includes Nose Hill Métis Districts 5 and Elbow Métis District 6. So just a few housekeeping things as we get started. Of course, for those of you in the room, we just ask that you please silence any of your devices. For those of you who are here in person, we do have wheelchair accessible seating. It's located at the back. There's also a ramp on the left side. You can take it down. There's some more accessible seating in the first row on the right side and the fourth row on the left side. We do have a masking requirement throughout the event, so we just ask that you respect that. One of our speakers has a disability that would be potentially prone to respiratory infection, so we please ask that you observe the masking requirements. Of course, there are some times for food and drinks, so you're welcome to take your mask off at that point, and we did bring enough masks, so you're welcome to change your mask after each meal. We have some additional courtesy seating. We just ask again that you respect that for people with other mobility needs, service animals, etc. We will be recording all of our speakers today, so those videos will be posted within 2 weeks, and anyone who's registered to attend either in person or online will get a link. So feel free, you don't have to madly take notes or anything like that. In terms of closed captioning, unfortunately, logistically, we haven't been able to enable in-room closed captioning. However, we are able to do that on Zoom. So for those of you who are on Zoom, please just click the CC in a circle to enable closed captioning for yourself. And anyone in the room, if you want to just open up Zoom to use the closed captioning, please do that. If you need any help throughout the day, please just ask someone in a light blue shirt. They're the volunteers, and they can also help you if you're having any trouble accessing the link. For those of you online, if there's any technical issues, either with the Zoom room or Slido, please email us at bettermobilitylab@ucalgary.ca. And you can also feel free to use social media, and you can use that hashtag to tag us. Other accessibility things we'll go through. There is stairs down the middle, so just be careful if you are a little bit unstable. There's also a ledge on the right side. That's a bit of a tripping hazard up at the back, so just be mindful of that. We will be closing the doors at times throughout this talk or these presentations, so those doors aren't automatic. We have a volunteer who's able to help anyone who needs any assistance with opening or closing the doors. So as you probably saw, this event is a little bit spaced out. Most things will be happening in terms of the eating and drinking in the Azrieli atrium. We have some snack times, we have lunch. That's also where our research posters are, and we really encourage you to come out and learn about some of the neat research that's going on. This is a really interdisciplinary event, so it'll be really cool to see what kind of projects are happening. And then, of course, we have a lot of exhibitors, so partners from the University of Calgary space as well as the City of Calgary. We had limited space, so of course we would love to have had more exhibitors, and please put that in the feedback if there's any other exhibitors. At the end there will be a feedback form if there's any other exhibitors that you think would be valuable to attend in the future. For those of you who are here, Theater 1, where we are right now, is where all of our guest speakers will be speaking and the final wrap-up will take place. We also have a lactation room in G700, multi-phase spaces in HSC 1002 and 1004, quiet room in 801E on the ground floor, and there's also several washrooms, and we've put signage throughout to show you where all of these rooms are. If you go to the accessibility page on our event website, it's also listed there with a map, and again, any of our volunteers can help you find the way because we know things are a little bit spread out. So, yeah, we have had quite a few number of people register. We had 168 people register to attend in person, which is amazing. Very exciting. And we have quite a few people who've registered online as well. For those of you who don't know me, I thought I'd just give a quick introduction. I do wear quite a few hats. We have a picture here of a cartoon person wearing a lot of different colored hats. I'm a clinical associate professor in the Department of Clinical Neurosciences, which is in Cummings School of Medicine, and I'm also an adjunct associate professor in kinesiology. I work 50% of the time as a physiatrist, and then the other 50% I do research. So I am trained in biomechanics, but we'll talk a bit about our lab. I also have a degree in cross-disciplinary studies, so we use a lot of different approaches in our lab. I'm also a full member with the McCaig Institute, which does bone and joint research here, as well as the Hotchkiss Brain Institute, which does more neuro rehab or neurological research here. So I'm just going to give a quick 2-minute spiel because no one knows what a physiatrist is. Very few people know what we are, so I just like to share that. We are medical doctors, so we have gone to medical school. We do a 5-year specialty training program and basically working with people with different types of impairments. So predominantly that involves things involving the neurological and musculoskeletal systems, but as I'll show you, we can basically assist with rehabilitating lots of different body parts and body functions. And our main goal is to use our medical knowledge to help people have a good quality of life and sort of function and be as independent as they feel comfortable being. In terms of a bit of the history, it is a relatively new medical field. It really took off after the First World War when antibiotics were invented and people started surviving things that they might not have otherwise survived before. And of course, the polio epidemic also contributed a lot to the development of the need for physiatry. So some of the things a physiatrist might look after is people who've had musculoskeletal injuries such as fractures, amputations, joint replacements. Some of us do sport and exercise medicine, and some of us do what's called interventional pain procedures, so procedures using ultrasound or x-ray to help guide that. Some of us do more neurological rehabilitations, looking after people who might have had problems with their brain or their spinal cord or their nerves or their muscles. But we really can help with rehabilitating any body part. So we actually have a cancer physiatrist in the room. There's some of us who do pediatric physiatry, working with children, cardiac or pulmonary rehab. So in Calgary, we're very lucky. We have quite a few cancer physiatrists and burns physiatrists, which is very unique for Canada. So hopefully none of you will ask what the heck is a physiatrist after today. And I'll just quickly share a little bit about our lab. So I kind of mentioned that we do use a lot more interdisciplinary approaches, but we are focused a lot on helping people who have different mobility impairments, understanding why those impairments occur and how we can help people have a better quality of life. So that's kind of what prompted this. But really what prompted this, my institute director, Dr. Cheryl Barnaby, has been bugging me for a few years, probably because I've been bugging her about some things that maybe aren't accessible within the McCaig Institute space. So I'm really indebted to her to helping us bring this together. So in terms of this event, what are some of the goals? So we really are trying to bring together faculty, staff, and trainees from within the university, as well as healthcare providers within AHS and community organizations, help people meet each other, help people really talk to and listen to each other and learn from each other. There's a lot that we have to learn. None of us is perfect. Many of us are experts in our own fields, but really exploring what ableism and disability justice are and how they might present in things like our classrooms, our application processes, our discussions. For those of us who do research, how are we even thinking about doing our research? How are we setting up those spaces? And then really reflect on what it is that we can do about it, maybe in the immediate term and in the long term. We really want to have this day be about bringing people together. So for those of you in person, there's lots of networking opportunities throughout the day. But for those of you online, we've shared the exhibitors and their information online. We've also shared all of the research posters, abstracts online. So do feel free to reach out. And our speakers will be sharing their email addresses. So do feel free to connect with them after as well. And our goal is to make this an annual event for 5 years and each year hold it in one of the different campuses. So as you'll see today, a lot of our discussions might be a bit more focused around healthcare because we're in the health sciences space. So this is where health sciences, medical school are really based. But in the future, looking at things like the Spy Hill campus and main campus, as well as the downtown campus. So in the spirit of that, none of us is an expert, as I said. I used to work in residence many, many years ago. We'd talk about giving people the B of the D, the benefit of the doubt, just kind of assuming people are coming from an open and honest space today. Basically, trying not to make too many assumptions besides that, really just being open-minded, asking questions. We don't want people to be judging, blaming, or shaming. Some of us might be further along in different parts of the journey, and that's okay. We can all kind of get there together. We do want you to participate, but sort of from an equity standpoint for people online and in person, we're using Slido. If you are having issues with accessing Slido for whatever reason, our volunteers can also help you and just put your question into the chat. So just raise your hand and one of the volunteers will come and help you with that. So for those of you who want to try it out, this is the Slido link. There's also QR codes posted throughout the tables. For those of you online, we'll be posting it throughout the day as well in the chat. And it was also sent by email. You can also go to slido.com and enter the code 2562509. The Slido is organized by room, so each room is a different speaker. So just make sure you put your question in the right room for the right speaker. It's a lot of talking. I'm going to skip this just because we're running late. So here's just a refresh of today's agenda. There are paper agendas on the check-in desk if you need, as well as on the website. There are some online agendas. The agendas are also posted on the door if you need that. So we'll have basically 2 keynote speakers followed by a break, and then our 3rd keynote speaker followed by lunch, exhibitor, and poster viewing, and then 2 more exhibitor speakers, keynote speakers. And then at the end, we've left about an hour for those of you in person to kind of get to know each other, so feel free to head back to the atrium at that point. In terms of other things, I mentioned some of our online resources, and we've also posted some academic and practical resources to summarize the findings from today's event. If you have anything else that you think we should post on there, just email us. And then right before I introduce our next speaker, I do want to express major gratitude to the many, many sponsors that made this event happen. McCaig Institute really helped organizing behind the scene, administratively and financially. We were able to receive a grant from the Institutes of Transdisciplinary Scholarship. And then all the other institutes, so the institutes, for those of you that don't know, are partnerships between University of Calgary, Cummings School of Medicine, and Alberta Health Services, and each focuses on a different aspect of health research. So the O'Brien Institute for Public Health, Hotchkiss Brain Institute, Arnie Charbonneau Cancer Institute, the Snyder Institute for Chronic Diseases, and the Libin Institute for Cardiovascular Health. They all contributed to making today's event possible, which we really appreciate. And lastly, the Precision Equity and Social Justice Office.